The work of Shakespeare has been presented in a number of ways, which keep his name relevant more than 400 years after his death. His plays have been shown to us in movies, in Central Park, and by thousands of English teachers across the nation. Mind-blowing colored pencil illustrations by John Leon Huens bring stories like Macbeth, Julius Caesar, and Hamlet to life just as well as the park down the street from the museum they're housed in. John Leon Huens was born in 1921 in Melsbroek, Belgium. He began his artistic career illustrating children's books after studying at the Institute of St. Luc and the Academy of La Cambre in Brussels. Much of Huens' work was historical. He and his brother formed the Historia Society in 1946, where they sold small, postcard-sized lithographs depicting Belgian history, along with packaged tea, chocolates, spices, and biscuits. By the 1970s, Huens was working for magazines like National Geographic and Reader's Digest. He created portraits of renowned scientists, maps, and renderings of ancient civilizations, and what we're about to look at today. Reader's Digest asked Huens to illustrate the works of Shakespeare in over 100 small paintings, measuring 5 1/4 by 7 1/4 inches. Tragically, this book was never published, and most of these paintings must be stored in darkness to avoid the damage of light. Luckily, here in the Society's permanent collection, we have 22 of these pieces, and I will show you some of my favorites. What strikes me about Huens' work is his insane attention to detail and lighting. His pieces that are set outdoors are so realistic when it comes to texture, color, and light that I feel like I am outside with the characters. What also impresses me is the detail Huens puts into the texture on stone. Stone can be a very difficult thing to draw and render, but Huens does it flawlessly. The viewer is able to imagine exactly how that stone feels. Another thing Huens renders perfectly is cloth. The dramatic lighting on most of these Shakespeare pieces only enhances the stunning folds, shadows, and highlights of the clothing of the characters. One more thing I love about the Shakespeare pieces in particular is the color palette. When looking at these pieces together, one can see that the color palette is relatively limited to bright red, icy blue, beige, gray, black, and white. This color palette not only unifies the pieces as a whole, but also solidifies the ghostly themes of death in these stories.